Hey, what is going on, everybody? SpikeB Gaming here, bringing you a little bit of starting room on the Giant. And the reason I chose this for the background of this wish list of things I want in a starting room, mostly I'm looking at Black Ops 4 because I think that's going to be the most likely. I wouldn't mind any other games for IW or Sledgehammer. If you like any of this, be sure to use it. But one thing I really like is I like starting areas where you can train, where once you figure it out that it's not terribly hard, and it gets difficult because of the number of zombies. For instance, this starting room, not really my favorite one, but like this map, Kino is pretty good for it. Origins is great for it, as you can see with the ZWC, I think it was the challenges this summer of starting room. And you can see guys getting like around 80, and that's one of the things I want to talk about that I love is having more stuff to do in the starting room, more things that are just little Easter eggs that, hey, maybe if you don't know about it, it's not very helpful, but if you do, you can get stuff like pack-punched guns, like in Origins, which is something that I think would be awesome. I think it'd be awesome if you could almost, in a sense, have this own little map, in a sense, in the starting room, to where it's like, you can get really cool things if you know how to do it right. That maybe you have to make it a certain number of rounds without opening doors, or maybe you have to just know the challenges. Maybe you can do it right off the bat. It doesn't matter if you're going to open up the rest of the map or not. That you can get, say, perks or guns or anything really that just kind of makes it more unique. I think it'd be a lot of fun if, for instance, on certain maps where if you survive a certain amount of time in the starting room, like what was it called? The time trials they did in Black Ops 3 on the other maps. Like Gradkrovi, that one has a good starting room. That's what. I'm starting to think a lot of the Treyarch maps I feel like have a really good starting room. I think DE is like the one that just has a terrible starting room. But it's like, you have all these awesome things, but have the time trials, have the weapons that you get, have those spawn in here, in the starting room, to where you can use them. Like, granted, you're going to see later that it's like, I wouldn't want to, and especially if you look at my game, like, I keep checking the leaderboard trying to figure out why the heck my game is skipping so bad. Which, when you're trying to do training in a really tight area, having a game that skips is just terrible, so I have to figure that out. I'm thinking it's just probably my PlayStation is trying to run something else in the background, which is just, I don't know why I'm not doing anything else. It was literally turned off when I turned it on, so. But it'd be really cool to see some of these fun things, or maybe even don't even have the. Granted, I like the time trials just because, but I'd like different rewards other than just melee weapons. Like, oh hey, you did rounds 1 through 5 in under 5 minutes. Give us different rewards. Have more unique rewards that aren't just melee weapons. To where maybe that's the way that you get certain rewards, to where it's like, hey, congratulations, you kicked butt, you did great, here's a gun. Or, hey, congratulations, here's a, well, they've already announced that there's not going to be gobblegums, so that's a little bit different, because it's one thing I'm kind of sad to see go, because I really like gobblegums. I think they're a lot of fun, but I'm assuming we're going to get something equally cool. Hopefully, I'm trusting Treyarch there, but I feel like it'd be a lot of fun, especially if you could do more, to where basically doing stuff like this, where it's like, this game lasted 14 minutes 46 seconds. Granted, I won't show you the last like 10 seconds because it's really pathetic the way I died, but it's like, that's really fun. But it'd be really cool if you could do more in that time. Granted, if I was better, I probably could have lasted, because I think I made it through I think it was on round 12 is what I was starting, and it's like, I could have made it further. It was a stupid mistake. It's the fact that this is the first time I'm really playing zombies in months. It's like I haven't played much at all. But looking at it from that perspective, it's like there's so much kind of stuff that you can add, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that it's like, alright, Treyarch, you've proven that you can make some of the best maps around. That, in my opinion, DE, Revelations, Gradkrovi, until you start to do the Easter egg on that map, Zetsubo. Okay, these maps are awesome. The Chronicles maps are awesome. Heck, I even like Shadows of Evil, but that's because I like the Lovecraftian lore and all that stuff, because that's really cool. It's a great book series. If you haven't go on Amazon. You can get the whole collection. It's a great read. Really interesting. Lots of short stories, so it's nice for just getting you through reading. But it's like, okay, so you've mastered the maps. Now it'd be really fun to see more of the... Let's throw in weird Easter eggs, like stuff like the golden spork on Mob of the Dead. I want to see more stuff like that, because that stuff I feel like is a lot of fun, because it's like, if you do that, that rewards you, I think, until, round 30, that thing's still a one-hit kill. And it's like, stuff like that just makes it so interesting, and to have just a bunch of stuff like that, to where it's like, something where there's still the possibility, even if, like, 2 years down the road, that someone just randomly finds something. Like, that would be really cool to see. That just completely changes the game, and makes it to where everyone flocks back and tries to master that element. Like, I feel like that would be really awesome for everyone, and it would kind of get us away from this aspect of, it's like, I think it's a meme, but it's really accurate, of the Call of Duty year, like the calendar according to Call of Duty, of like, everyone's really excited, dies off really fast, which, granted, Treyarch games, I feel like, don't die off nearly as fast. You tend to have more of a... Treyarch games last until usually like right at the end, like that last couple weeks, to where it's like, then everyone's starting to get geared up for the next game, really hopeful, really excited, which, granted, I want to be hopeful, I want to be excited. I'd love to see the Infinity Ward team not do zombies again. I want to see them do Extinction again, because that was something that I loved. That was probably, in my opinion, the best game mode that's come out that was secondary, that wasn't Treyarch zombies. I love World War II, but granted, I think World War II was, their storyline is amazing. I think they have that on lock. I would almost argue that I think it's a better put together story from an initial standpoint than Treyarch, because I feel like if Treyarch started with Jason Blundell and his team now crafting the story, I feel like it'd be a lot better, because I love the story, and these guys came in and basically saved something that no one else knew how to save. So that makes it really good. Whereas I feel like World War II is starting in a solid place, and what they need to work on is gameplay and map design. But that's something that's like, that takes time, because it's like, I don't think Nacht is a great map. Granted, I appreciate it for what it did, because it gave us this. It gave us Black Ops 3. Because, honestly, I don't know if Treyarch would have been as powerful. They would still be as big if it weren't for zombies. I feel like zombies is kind of the saving grace that got Treyarch going, got them picked up, and where they were a mainstay of the Call of Duty series. But it's like, they started at that. They started at nothing. And it's one of those things of seeing where they've come. And it's like, with the other developers, just seeing them kind of get the chance to develop more. Because it's one of those things that you can't really see how good a game is or how good a series is if you only see one game. And so I want to see the World War II zombies come forward. I think that'd be something really awesome to see, but... Totally honest, I started off with one topic, and I have no idea how I got to this one, but I like the way it's feeling. It's feeling good. It's feeling natural. But it's one of those things where I'm very excited to see what's coming, because I think the challenges that have been set forth with the last games have hopefully inspired. I'm hoping that this is something where Activision has kind of let Treyarch do what Treyarch does best, because I feel like, especially looking at it from the past and kind of listening to interviews with developers, and it's like, it feels like a lot of times Activision's kind of stepping in and like, hey, you're going to do this. And I kind of want to just see them trust the fact that, I think Treyarch, I think they know the community, I think they know their customers, I think they know their fans, and I think they're more interested in their fans than they are the customers. That they see the fans, that if they make the fans happy, the fans will take care of them. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to see a lot of this year, is that it's like, trust them. So far, I don't think Treyarch has really let anyone down. Now, what I will say is I really hope that we get some grand, amazing payoff. That there's something that this has all been culminating to, and that the Ether story basically gets a point to where it's like, if they ended it, I'm hoping it's not Blood of the Dead, just because I would love to continue seeing the Ether storyline, because I love the Premise group. That's what basically I came in and really got into zombies when Premise started with Origins. And it's like, I want to see that continue because I love it. But it's also one of those things where I want them to reach a point, hopefully DLC 1 or 2. I'm hoping 1, just because then they at least take it a little further than Blood of the Dead. That we get a point to where the story hits a peak, to where it's like, if we ended here, it's alright. Or not a peak, I guess. Because Revelation should be that peak. And I want to get to a point to where it's like, if we never saw anything else from the Premise crew, that's okay. To where it's not just soul-crushing, like, what the heck happened to him? But also at the same time, I want it to be a point to where it's like, if they bring them back, say DLC 4, it's just like a, hey, we were thinking of them too. That we almost get that in a sense, that we get that opportunity to see the crew either move on in their universe, that like everything resolves almost in a sense, but not entirely. But to where it's like, if trouble happens again, you can bring them back. Because I'm very excited for the Chaos story mode, because it looks awesome. I'm really excited to see new rules in a sense. That it's like, we're not just going to be on the same old storyline of, 115 and all of this. Because as much as I like it, I like consistency. I like rules. I like the fact that in World War II zombies that you have really strict. The universe is limited. And that the only reason that it expands is because we don't know anything when we start. Whereas I kind of feel like right now that the best thing that they could do is bring the Premise crew to a close. Because I know, listening to a lot of other YouTubers, that it's one of those things that for them, they want it to end because they're just tired of cliffhangers at the end of every game. Which, to an extent, I agree, because it's like, yeah, you need to close a story at some point, so that the story, whether you continue it or not, you have to reach a point to where the story is good. Such as Star Wars, another one of my big passions. It's like, if in Return of the Jedi, if there was not the closure of the Empire being defeated as we thought, because it's like, if you end the story right there, if we never saw another Star Wars movie again, everything would have been okay. But it's like, then you bring in the sequels, which, granted, The Last Jedi, let's just not talk about it. I'm in a really good mood today. But it's like, The Force Awakens comes in and it reignites that. But it doesn't take away from it. Whereas The Last Jedi does take away from everything for the last 40 years. But that's a different issue. But it's like, that's what I want them to do with the Ether storyline. I want them to bring it to a point to where it's like, if it never happens again, I'm okay with that. I still love it. It's still going to be a huge part of my life. But I'm not sitting there upset that it's like, it's not like right now with The Last Jedi, how I'm feeling of just being infuriated. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Kind of give me your opinions on kind of how you're feeling at this moment of going forward. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. And I'm going to end this video really fast because this thing's about to turn really